We're back here today at Triumph's HQ in Hinckley to have a look at the brand new Triumph Tiger 1200 family. There's 5 bikes in the family and we've got 4 to show you here today. So when Triumph teased this model back in September, I was really intrigued to come up and have a look at the final version, just to find out what Triumph have done to improve it and not just compare it to the competition, but actually make it better. So I can tell you just by looking at the bikes next to me now, especially the rally versions, they look a lot more adventure focused, and I've got to say the new design looks fantastic. But it's not just the design that Triumph have updated, there's a lot more work that's gone into it to improve these bikes. So we've been lucky enough today to be joined by Triumph's Chief Engineer, Stuart Wood, and also a bit later on by Miles Perkins, who's the Head of Brand Management at Triumph. So Stuart, thanks for joining us. Firstly, Triumph have positioned this bike to be the best large capacity adventure bike, not just on road but off road as well. And there's some really stiff competition in that category. So what have Triumph had to do to make that a reality?
Andrew, this was a major undertaking. Okay, it's a real big focus. It's a whole business focus, not just design, manufacturing. It's everyone. We've designed a completely new range of bikes from the ground up. So we've got new engines, new chassis, and they're all set up and tuned to suit different types of adventures and what people want to do with their bikes. So the start point really was mass reduction. That was a big part of what we wanted to achieve. So overall, over the previous generation models, we've reduced the mass by 25 kilos, which is a huge amount. And you feel that absolutely everywhere. You feel it from the moment you pick the bike up off the stand, sitting astride, pushing it around and riding slow speed, especially off-road. So mass reduction was a big part, and that means that you have to focus on every single component to achieve it. We've also wanted to get more performance but more character from the engine as well. So we've got a brand new engine with 1160cc triple, and we've put the T-plane crank in this engine. So that gives us a different firing order, which gives you more character and really encourages you to use the torque low down in the rev range, which is really good off-road. So you're not revving the engine, you're actually driving it hard on the throttle at lower RPM. Gives you loads of control, great tractability. So those are really big changes, but we've brought more tech as well. There's an awful lot there. Oh, and in addition, 2 completely new models with the Explorers, where we've got 30-litre tanks.
So the new Tiger 1200 range is lighter, it's more powerful, and it's got improved handling. How have you managed to achieve that? And can you tell us some of the more technical details around it?
Okay, lighter, as I said, is a focus on every single component. So that's engine and chassis. What we've got as an outcome is from the GT model, which is 240 kilograms, and that's a fully wet, ready to ride weight, to 261 for the absolutely fully loaded Rally Explorer, again wet and ready to ride. Those figures, it's not just that 25 kilogram reduction of what we previously had, but compared to our most direct competitor with a shaft drive, obviously, there's only one competitor with a shaft drive. The more spec we add, the more mass we reduce compared to a comparable spec. So when we take the Rally Explorer, we're at 17 kilograms lighter.
Wow. Right.
Okay. So that's a pretty big difference.
Significant amount. Yeah.
In terms of power, we're at 150 horsepower now at 9,000 RPM, but we've increased our torque and have 130 Newton meters at 7,000 RPM, which maintains a really broad torque curve, which is essential for touring riding, two up with luggage. It just feels really good, really strong engine. So together, the mass reduction, the increased engine performance, they all come together with handling and with general performance. So it will accelerate quicker. It is more agile. The chassis has been set up on its new mass and new mass distribution and around the ergonomics to just deliver the best possible ride we could.
So let's talk a little bit more about that 1160cc T-plane triple engine. What benefits is that going to give to the riders who are going to buy these bikes and the Triumph customers who are going to ride these bikes? What are the real benefits from that engine as opposed to the last one and the competitors?
The actual delivery, the torque and power delivery from that engine is really, really glorious. We always tune our engines to give us really seamless and intuitive throttle response. We want power and torque, but you also want control. And that's great on the road, but it's absolutely crucial off-road.
Yeah.
So the way the engine's tuned is all about control and giving you what you want when you need it. You request it, it'll give it to you. The T-plane crank, as I said, allows you to have an engine that's got the character of a twin at low RPM, and you encourage to use that torque. It's a really lovely feel when you're riding it, but it's smooth and powerful at the top end. So again, we've got a much more powerful engine now, and it's smooth and delivers both that off-road control and character along with the smoothness and refinement you'd expect from a touring bike.
So the tech packages on this range also seems really impressive. So you've got things like blind spot detection, semi-active suspension, 6 different riding modes. The list seems to go on and on. Could you talk a bit more about the tech that you've got on these bikes and how the riders can, and how people who are going to ride these bikes are going to benefit from that?
The tech is really complete. Okay, it's a package and it's integrated, and it's all about making the ride better for you, for your ride. But so we'll start with semi-active suspension. Okay, that's a really, really nice feature. It not only gives you control and comfort, but it gives you adjustability.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of that adjustability you choose to suit the ride you want. So, for instance, if you choose one of the riding modes, it'll select an appropriate suspension tune for you.
Right. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that suspension tune you can adjust further. So you can make it more comfortable, give yourself more control if you're riding in a more spirited way. But you can select, just with one button, an appropriate suspension tune. Now that suspension, being semi-active, does a lot more thinking after that. So it's not just a preset. What that does is that gives a start point. If you're riding on your own, you put a passenger on the back, or you fit luggage, the bike will adjust for that extra mass. So the rear preload will be adjusted and it will maintain the right attitude for the bike to give you the best ride. In addition, the damping will be changed to match that preload and match that weight. But as you go faster, the damping will also be increased. So to be an appropriate level of damping, because there's more energy when you hit a bump at higher speed. So again, comfort and control. It uses something called Skyhook technology, which basically is all about keeping the bike body steady and allowing the wheels to move over the terrain. Yeah. And you can do that because you're using the IMU, which is measuring all your accelerations, rotational and linear accelerations. It knows exactly where the bike is in space. It knows where the wheels are. We've got suspension potentiometers, both ends. It's a very fine system that does a lot of clever things on your behalf. Very easy for you to select what you want it to do, and then it looks after you. In addition, there's an off-road mode as well, which has completely different damping settings, and again, you can adjust further to suit you. We've got the Triumph blind spot radar system as well, which gives you a rear-facing radar that's looking at the traffic behind you. So that's traffic behind you and the traffic in your blind spot. If there's something there, you'll get a light on your mirror indicating there's a vehicle there, bike or car. If you indicate to pull out, whether there's something there running at the same speed as you or something approaching, it'll flash that light as well to give you an even clearer indication to be careful and not to pull out. So that's a really good system, and it's something that, again, talking to customers, they really, really want it from their bikes. Yeah. The blind spot radar system is available on the 2 Explorer models, so both on the GT and the Rally. You've got corner optimised ABS and traction control on all the models. Now that basically uses the IMU to measure your angle of lean, and that optimises your braking and acceleration traction control in all conditions. You've got hill hold as standard. That's a really nice feature where you can just pull the front brake, it holds the rear brake until you decide to ride off against it. Now when you're fully laden with a passenger, that's a really nice feature. And it's something you after you've used it, you'll search for on other bikes as well. The hill hold's available as standard equipment on all the models except for the base GT. We've got the same situation with the cruise control and heated grips, which are standard on these 4 models but not on the base GT. And with the heated seats, you get those as standard on both Explorer models, but they're accessories on all the other models if you want to fit them.
So Triumph are quite particularly renowned for being good handling bikes. So how have you managed to improve that on this range?
Well, you've got 2 directions. Obviously, with the GT models, you've got a more road-biased or based touring motorcycle. It's got off-road capability, 200 millimeters of suspension travel. Okay, so it's really, really competent. That gives you comfort, control, and off-road ability. But we fitted 19-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel. Now that allows you really nice road manners, but also allows you to choose tyre options as well for more off-road riding. So really, really nicely balanced. Mass reduction is absolutely critical to the handling as well. So all the work we've done to reduce the mass has improved agility, handling, control. We've managed to achieve all this whilst keeping a shaft drive, which we know is really critical. If you're an adventure bike rider, the majority of adventure bike riders want a shaft drive. Had it before, we've maintained it, but we have made some changes. So we've now got a tri-link swing-arm system, which is twin-sided instead of the single-sided, which has allowed us to reduce mass even further whilst keeping all that wheel control and strength. With the Rally Pro and the Rally Explorer, we've got a different setup. So what we've done, we fitted the 21-inch front wheel, which is more off-road focus, and you really notice the difference. The geometry is very slightly different as well, to match the tyre and to match the feel we wanted off-road and on-road. We're up to 220 millimeters of wheel travel, so again, more capability for the more extreme off-road that these riders will want to do.
So in the range, there's an Explorer model and the Pro models. So could you just talk a little bit around the differences between those two?
Well, this was another big opportunity for us and a big focus. Now, the Rally Pro and the GT Pro have a 20-litre tank, which is a good-sized tank for touring, but the Explorers go further. So we've got 1.5 times the tank capacity, giving you 1.5 times the range. So 30-litre tanks on both Explorer models. And that really is very, very significant in that now, spec-wise, with shaft drive, 30-litre tank, all the technology, the low mass and the T-plane crank 1160cc engine. It's a very, very complete package for serious adventure touring.
So we've also been joined by Miles Perkins, who's the head of brand management at Triumph. So Miles, thanks for joining us. So when it comes to overhauling a range and a bike like the Tiger 1200, how much does customer feedback come into the design process and the build process, or is it that the engineers and the designers do what they think it will make a better motorcycle than the previous generation?
Well, there's a proportion of both, but I would say the former is, I mean, that's fundamentally what sits at the heart of our design development process. Effectively, talking to customers, talking to our dealers, focus groups, research, competitor research, comparative, basically keeping a very clear view of the world and the market, and then talking to customers around what they want, what they value, what value they put on that value, as in, you know, what they be prepared to pay more for, etc. So all of our motorcycles go through that approach, but something as significant as a change as this takes you then to invention. So it takes you to, okay, well, how, so in this market, you know, there are other competitors, and there are a variety of advantages that different bikes have, including our previous generation had a few key advantages in that world. And I think getting that feedback, then looking at the opportunities to go further or make a change, or in this case, an intent to transform the dimensions of what's sort of good and best in the category. Then you get the perspective from the engineering team who are looking to take that next step. And I think in Triumph's recent history, that step sometimes is quite easy to see with things like the Rocket or the Scrambler 1200 or the Bobber, where that mixture of customer insight and intuition, but also that leap, can really create something new.
How long has this project taken you to get from the very first phase of the process to where we are now? And what's your intention with this range? Is it to be at the very top in the category?
First in the timings, just over 4 years. And in fact, before the Tiger 900 was launched, the whole sort of plan, particularly with the opportunity with the T-plane triple engine configuration to give that kind of best of both worlds versus a twin low down and the sort of the substance on the road of a triple. That's been in the pipeline a long time, and actually as a project inside of Triumph, this is one of the most significant projects I've ever seen in I'm coming up to 10 years almost in Triumph myself, and in that time this project has been a very significant move. To the question of the sort of the world, the motorcycle world, I think be fair to say that there are several competitors, but there's one that pretty much stands head and shoulders in terms of sales, and also in terms of those key combination of things with the shaft drive, such as our previous generation. There's one other very key motorcycle competitor in that world. And what we set our sights on doing was taking the advantages we had in the previous generation, but completely evolving or starting from scratch actually to hit the key things that customers wanted. So the power, the handling, the weight, the technology, and the character were effectively the sort of the central themes for the design team. And the objective has been, and these bikes, I think they will very well stand up to the test. The objective has been to redefine what that character benchmark's about, go toe to toe with the other shaft drive competitor, and basically beat it on weight. And bike by bike, these are lighter than that particular competitor by a significant amount. So we're 17 kilograms lighter on the top spec Rally Explorer versus its comparator. But even on the base GT, we're 9 kilograms lighter and 25, more than 25 on the overall bike. We're more powerful. So lighter and more powerful is a great combination. And then if you add the characteristics of the triple engine, where you've got that twin at the bottom, triple in the mid, and the top characteristics, we think that's a combination that should give riders something absolutely new, a new choice, a big one.
In terms of style, it looks like the Tiger 1200 range has become a lot more adventure focused, and there's a lot more specific adventure accessories as well. So what's the reason behind that, and what sort of some of the accessories that you can get? Okay,
well in the style, I think very much like the big shift between the Tiger 800 and the new Tiger 9 that we launched a couple of years ago, the intent there was the same, which was to bring in the Triumph's design DNA from the Tiger 900 here, but then take it on a step again. So to me, these are a more upright poise. I think Stuart's talked about the ergonomics, but the overall sort of stance of the bike looks more engaged and more sort of more ready to go. The colour schemes and the bodywork design and the detailing are just as sort of premium and high quality as we would want on any of our bikes. But of course it's all new, so new design touches. For me, the Rally family and the GT family have now become more purposeful. They've separated a little bit more into more of an off-road intent look, although of course it's a road bias tourer as much. But with the GT, these have got so the finishes, the material and paint finishes are different. You've got more of a road feel versus an off-road. And then obviously with the colour schemes, although they all come in black and white choices as well, although the base GT that we haven't got here is only in white. The Lucerne blue, which I think is a lovely deep rich colour here for the GTs, then is contrasted with the Rally range by the matte khaki scheme, and of course with the white frame, which is our signature, and that comes or stems from our Tramontana prototype Tiger 900, which competed in rallying. So that was a rally raid scheme. So all new look, more of the Tiger 900 sort of DNA, but gone a little bit further. And then in regard to the accessories, we've got 50 on offer. I think you know that the choice of an accessory, from whether you buy it from a manufacturer or whether you buy it from a separate company, I think that for me the key when you buy a manufacturer accessory is it's been designed with the bike by the same team, it's been prototyped with the bike, it comes with the same warranty. And what we have with the new Tiger 1200 family is 2 new complete luggage setups. So we have a moulded Trekker, pair of panniers, a 2 helmet top box. They look awesome on the GT, but they look great on the rally as well. And then in a more sort of adventure focused, we then have the Expedition aluminium kit with panniers and a top box, and they all come with backrests and that kind of thing. Amazing. And then there's lots of protection equipment you can get. So on the Rally Explorer, the protection bars for the tank, they're accessories that you can get on the other bikes. Basically everything that's not on the bike but's on a higher spec. In the main you can put it on as an accessory. So there's lots and lots of them.
Okay, and I've got to say they look fantastic, particularly this one. I think it's my favourite.
Yeah, it's the one to take home. I've got the key for that as well.
Have you? So finally then, when can we expect to see the Tiger 1200 range in dealers, and how much do they cost?
Right, okay, well if we start with the price, the base spec GT is £14,600 in the UK, and our prices go all the way up to the top of the range, or sort of the flagship, with the Rally Explorer, and that's 19,100. And then in regard to when they come into dealers in the UK, this will be from the beginning of April, although of course Triumph dealers will be quite happy to talk to you now about getting a booking in for a test ride.
So there you have it. That's all you need to know about the new Triumph Tiger 1200 range. Thank you to Triumph for having us, and yeah, we can't wait to swing a leg over one soon, hopefully.
Lovely.